Well, what I do know is that good things happen when we talk about the dragons. It's a serious thing, and I think dragons can make oneself happy. I think you could make anybody happy again just by thinking about dragons in their life. Yeah, maybe like at one time humans were friends with dragons, or maybe enemies. It's really hard to say, but I feel like I feel a link to them. You know, the power of the dragons. So let's talk about the dragons. I would like to like think of what's a nice shell for dragons, right? Like, and we want to play Gruul dragons, at least, I mean, you could go Dragon, right? Yeah, you could play all the dragon colors. That sounds fun too. But, maybe you want to keep it cool. Maybe you want to keep it kind of simple. It's hard to choose from all the dragons. So maybe we can just like, focus on red and green dragons first, and then maybe move on from there. That might be kind of cool. So I'm just going through basically all the dragons that kind of I'm aware. I know some dragons were mentioned in a previous video, including Dragonborn Champion and Cloth, and I'm definitely gonna go pick up that. I think I'm definitely going to splurge on that pre-con. I think that is a very cool idea. Maybe to get some of those cards. Maybe I'll have to look at the pre-con itself. I might just pick up the singles. But we'll see. I'm definitely going to consider it because I definitely want to try out all those dragons. I like big mana. And I'm definitely going to be focusing on like big mana. For me, I think my big mana deck is Maria, the Scholar of Antiquity. I feel like she's kind of the red green Azusa. I think that's like kind of the best comparison. If you want to like kind of make a commander comparison. I do think what makes Maria a little bit different is that she's not going to be really so in your face. She's not going to put down like 12 force by turn 5. It's just not gonna. That's not something she can do. I mean, she's not even gonna be able to like outscale something like Azusa. But what she does have that green doesn't have, she has red. So you can play red and green, and obviously red is the dopest, and it's just stronger than green by itself. Let's be honest. Like there's just certain red green cards that can devastate your opponents faster. There's kind of a that element of damage that red can bring that is a little different too. It's kind of explosive, right? And I think that's the color identity of red is like kind of that explosive nature. I know, don't get me wrong, green stompy is good, but I do think that red kind of just brings the heat. So without further ado, let's just kind of look at some of these dragons. And for this deck, we're gonna be like, we're gonna have to make cuts here and there, but we're definitely gonna be like focused on dragons. It's gonna be a dragon tribal. We're really gonna go all out. And building dragons, there has to be an element of haste, right? So we have to make sure that we're enabling all the haste and making sure we're giving all the opportunities for our dragons to come in and start doing what they need to do. So our Atarka is just, a fantastic, dragon lord. It gives all of our dragons double strike. So that's just a very powerful ability, and it can like have the ability to close games very quickly. So we like Atarka very much. Here's the ancient bronze dragon. I would say the ancient bronze dragon. I'd say like a tenth of the time it can be good if it's not hasted, like a tenth of the time, which isn't very good. So I would say that it needs like that haste enabler. So like we're talking like lightning greaves, swift foot boots. This is for artifact center deck. Ring of Valkus would meet that criteria. Dragon Tempest, Xenagos, Rabbit Battery, all those red, green, even the Carnelian Orb would be from Baldur's Gate. That would also fit the mold too. So the ancient bronze dragon is the best card if it's hasted, right? It's a must kill. Once this thing connects, it just makes your creatures so huge. So if you're rolling like big die or if you have extra combat steps, it's just a crazy card. Woof, dragons, man. This dragon is super sick. The Dragon Broodmother. It's kind of like that Tender Shoot Dryad. And it's going to give you all those little dragon guys, right? It's going to make you a bunch of 1/1 dragons. It's going to kind of, add to our dragon. There's a lot of synergy with dragons, including, for instance, Dragon Tempest is one of those cards that when we have dragons enter the battlefield, we're going to get that bonus, right? We're going to have it deal that much damage, the amount of dragons we have on the battlefield to any target. So Dragon Tempest and also similarly the Scourge of Valkis are going to be very good combo pieces with the Dragon Broodmother. So yeah, just another very cool dragon that we can add to the arsenal that we're definitely going to make the cut. So, I mean, it is very difficult to make these kind of decisions. I mean, there's so many good ones. Savage Ventmaw, I really appreciate this card a lot. It makes like a ton of mana, and we're going to go real big in this deck. So, we're going to play the Portal of Phyrexia. We're going to play Dragonstorm. We're going to play all those crazy, like, big mana spells. Like Last March of the Ents is just another one that comes to my mind. We probably should play like a Finale of Devastation too. Why not? So that could be like another sweet card that we can get into. We can get into all these sweet cards because we're playing sweet dragons. So there's a Savage Ventmaw. Goldspan Dragon. Just gonna like be a sweet 5-drop. Like honestly with Maria, like she kind of circumvents the 5s, and really the 5s like they have to be really good to be played. I think Goldspan Dragon still makes the cut, along with Terror of the Peaks if we're going to do Dragon Tribal. That's fine. Honestly, though, like the amount of mana that Mario can produce, like you can honestly skip the 5s and just go right to like the 6s, 7s, 8s, and 9s, all those really big mana spells. But this is fine because we're going to be really focused on the dragons for this one. There's Terror of the Peaks right there. Just another really sweet dragon that has like a lot of intricacies. It's a board controller can kind of help control boards and take out other commanders and maybe their pieces of their other creatures. So it's a very cool strategic card that you can use. So that's very nice. Terror of the Peaks. Here's a Dragon Lord Artarka. It's a very nice enter the battlefield trigger where it just you cast and it deals 5 damage, divided amongst any number of target creatures and our planeswalkers. A nice ETB and just a huge body, an 8/8 trampler. Just an absolute monster. So very cool. Here's Xenagos. Not a dragon, but just like kind of an honorable dragon because it's going to help out all our dragons. It's going to give them haste. If you play Xenagos on Historic Brawl or maybe in Commander, it'd be a Historic Brawl. You could play this as your commander in that format on Arena, Historic Brawl. And a lot of people love to play Xenagos and like Old Gnawbone and Ancient Copper Dragon, all those like cards that really like can go off if they're hasted, like the dragons that are hasted and they can make like piles of treasures. That's where Xenagos is great. So if you're not familiar with this card, it's just 5 mana. It's a 6/5 god that's indestructible. As long as your devotion to red and green is less than 7, Xenagos isn't a creature. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste, and it gets XX until end of turn, where X is that creature's power. So very strong, very, very effective there. Wrathful Red Dragon. This is just going to be, we're going to be playing like a load of removal in here because that's just what we're going to be doing. We're going to be like, not really comboing in that. We're going to have like, some, like basically a win con would be our extra combat steps. But essentially like we're going to be playing like the Spiteful Banditry, Blasphemous Act. And that itself is a combo with the Wrathful Red Dragon. So that could be fun too. So for this card, whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. So it just can go face. You can do like a Blasphemous Act if you have a bunch of dragons out there all dealt like, 15 damage. And you're like dishing out 15 damage here, dishing out 15 damage there, blah, blah, blah. So 13 damage, whatever it is. So that's pretty cool. There's the Wrathful Red Dragon. Scourge of the Throne. This is going to be like kind of our extra combat step dragon. Love Scourge of the Throne. It performed very well for me when I played it. You know, just in like just the regular go. So we can just kind of target an opponent with the tied for the most life or the most life. And when this creature attacks that player, we can take an extra combat step. It triggers once per turn. And additionally, when it does attack that player, it does put a 1/1 counter on itself. So it's basically like a nice dragon. And the thing about these dragons is they're kind of, what they miss out on is haste, right? So it's very important when they put a lot of haste enablers, especially with cards like Dracuseth. We want these cards to be able to, you know, get in and start attacking and getting all their benefits, right? So that's going to be very important for us. Skyline Despot, this could be like kind of on the fringe, you know, it is a card that can have accrue value. And it also kind of is interesting with how it creates like a 5/5 too. So honestly, not the worst at all, really. So that's kind of like on like the mid, you know, like the mid, like we'll have to make a decision with that one, you know. So it's not like so clear cut. And I feel like maybe we just have to play the Scourge of Valkus, to be honest. Like, yeah, because you're playing Dragon Tempest, you're playing Dragon Broodmother, and you're playing dragons, right? So, you know, the more removal you can get, the better. So, yeah, we'll play the Scourge. Why not? We're going to go all the way. Hellkite Tyrant, this one seems pretty good too. So, once again, you definitely want to have haste built into these cards. You know, even Doors of Durin, because we're playing gold colors, can accomplish that as well. So we'll be very like excited about the Hellkite Tyrant as well. So just we gotta make sure they have haste. Like if they have haste, it's much better. This one, when it connects to combat ship countdown to a player, we can control all their artifacts. This is crazy. And then at the beginning of our upkeep, if we control 20 or more artifacts, we win the game. So if we have like a bunch of treasures or something, then you know we could just win. Which, speaking about treasures, the Cavern Horde Dragon, this guy's cool. I think it's really solid, you know. If our opponent has like a bunch of treasures, it's kind of like, you know, I think it can connect, you know, like it's going to be good. Like when it's good, it's going to be really good. So Cavern Horde Dragon, this costs X less for the a particular opponent, how many artifacts they can control, flying, trample, haste. So we want it to be like, you know, we want it to be cheaper on the cheap. We want someone to have like 5 artifacts. We'll play it for 4, you know, connect and make as many treasures based on who we hit with it, right? It's pretty cool. You know, I have a couple of dragons that are in this pile, like obviously Old Gnawbone, Ancient Copper Dragon. They're already in like kind of like my sleeved up in another deck. These are just like my extra dragons. I was like, I really just want to like just do all the dragons. So this is just going to be like, you know, a dedicated Mariolus with dragons. And it will just be like, I've really enjoyed this because I'm like looking at some cards. And I'm like, wow, that artifact just sounds really cool. Like, you know, Coat of Arms or Aether Vial, like cards I really wouldn't consider like for my other style. Like this is a tribal deck. So I'm very excited. I love this card. Tyrant's Familiar. It's a badass. It's a 5 colorless, 2 red. It's flying haste. And if we control our commander, this thing just starts to get in when it attacks, and it does 7 damage to target creature defending player controls. It's just an ultimate like commander destroyer. Like anyone's commander is going to be dead, right? I don't know. I don't think there's many commanders that have more than 7 toughness, to be honest. Hellkite Charger, this is just kind of that extra combat step. We're going to give it a go. We're going to play real big, you know, real big stuff. Like we're going to swing for the fences. We're going to play Aggravated Assault, even though I don't think it's the greatest card. And we're going to play Hellkite Charger too, because maybe if we just go big enough, maybe that will be like good enough. Maybe if we have enough things going on at once, you know, we can make them all work, or at least one of them work. So we can give it a go. Right there's Hellkite Charger. Phyrexian Dragon Engine, just another dragon. It's colorless and it can like, you know, get in there later and get us some gasoline if we like need to draw some new cards if it's in our graveyard. So we like the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Don't forget about this thing in your graveyard, you know, when you're playing. If it's in your graveyard and you think you're out of gas, it's probably just chilling and you need to draw your fresh 3. So don't forget about this card. That would be really sad. There's the Balefire Dragon, just probably like one of the better dragons in the deck. Probably like easily top 5, right? Easily maybe top 3, or maybe even the best. Like this thing hasted or like coming in like with the Doors of Durin through that way, being cheated out. It's just like absolutely substantial. So yeah, the Balefire Dragon is just super sick. Just the fact that it comes down, it hits an opponent, it deals damage to them, or damage to the creatures based on this creature's power, to all the creatures that they control. It's just fantastic. And you got a price reduction too from the Commander Legends. I pulled this in a booster. Absolutely insane, these boosters. I can't find them really. The Commander Masters, they're so good. The draft packs are great. There's Aggravated Assault. We talked about like kind of our win con there. A couple more dragons just to kind of like look at here, and then kind of go over some of the cooler cards in this pile. So Uvara Hellkite, we're going to play it in the pile in the 99, no doubt. It's just a big mana card, big energy, so we're going to do it. Same with Shivan Devastator. It's just like another big mana card, right? This could be a big monster, and it comes down with haste, so I'm fine with that. Maybe we'll put a Lizard Blades on it, or have like a whatchamacallit, our double striking dragon out here. The Atarka, yeah, Atarka World Render. That'd be kind of sweet too. So there is some dragons to see. Some other like cool, like kind of just dragon stuff that you might want to be aware of is like Dragon Tempest. We kind of talked about that. It gets all our flying creatures haste. And it has also the kind of the pinging ability with the dragons. Then we have the Invasion of Tarkir, which is a battle, and then it flips into the Savage Vent Maw. So yeah. Then we have the Sarkhan Fireblood here. This is the Planeswalker that can come out pretty early and start adding mana for generating our higher mana dragons. And it can also help us loot through our deck as well if we need to. Here is Dragonstorm, so another big mana play. Looking for us is to play a bunch of cards and then Dragonstorm, and then hopefully just end the game on the spot, right? You know, maybe get an old Gnawbone and an Ancient Copper Dragon on the battlefield, and then like it hit some extra combat steps. It sounds good to me. So there's Dragonstorm. So also some other big mana plays here. Tooth and Nail, that could be a fun one as well. Some of the kind of utility artifacts that I really kind of want to explore. Blade of Selves, just to maybe copy like a Terror of the Peaks and have them see each other and deal like some exponential damage would be fine. Dousing Dagger, just to really accelerate us to that big mana that we really are looking for. Orb of Dragonkind just is fantastic, right? Apart from Swift Boots and Lightning Greaves, we can also play cards like Ring of Alcus, Dowsing Device, Rabbit Battery, Carnelian Orb. I say we just play all the hasty artifacts, all of them. You know, like maybe seven hasty artifacts, including like a Xenagos. Rhythm of the Wild, that's you know consideration, but I don't know. I think I'll focus on the artifacts, you know. Also, because if we're gonna have extra combat steps, why not a Sword of Animist? And if we want to keep in budget in mind, like if we don't want to go like get it, you know, fetch up $50 for a Great Henge, we can consider cards for like Garrick's Uprising, you know. That could be really solid. I think Last March of the Ents is like $10 right now, so that's not so bad. Maybe a little protection with Heroic Intervention. This is a new one. If we're going to play a lot of 5-cost dragons, which I think we will, I think Chamil would be like a cool Discover card. And also like our spells not be countered. This is a new card. I pulled this in a booster pack. And Coat of Arms, just to give all our dragons some buff. Why not? Why not play like a crazy like buff spell that's an artifact of Marion? Sounds good. I'll get a Ruby Medallion to go along with the Emerald Medallion. And then, like I said, all the nice removal. We're going to get Bind a Tree, Blasphemous Act, Band of Blast. And then here's Aether Vial. So this is kind of cool. Just to maybe, you know, we can put, yeah, we could start putting some charge counters on the vial and start hitting some dragons out. So, and at the very worst, you'll just act as a mana rock with Maria, so we probably won't be sad about it. So, give it a go. Why not? I have it in my collection, so might as well try it. And then we're gonna play all the graveyard hate because we're gonna be like responsible players. You know, we're gonna play Unlicensed Hearst, Stone of Eric, and you know, like Haywire Might, such as that. And then maybe get some value with the Sylvan Library. There's Lizard Blades. So I think we have a good game plan kind of set up here with the dragons. I'm definitely going to look into the Cloth and the Dragonborn Champion. So that will definitely be some other dragons to look into. Of course, we're going to include Old Gnawbone and Ancient Copper Dragon. They're just too good not to have. Perhaps we'll even play like a Gadrak. But I don't know if we're going to play Henge or not. Like I'd say like that low cost, like 5 power card would be good with a Great Henge, you know, to get out the Henge pretty early, but I don't know if that's where I don't know if we're gonna like, you know, really, I mean, maybe eventually we can work up to that, but it's just not really in my budget at this time to just like, you know, have like a bunch of Great Henges floating around. You know, I think I have enough already anyways, so I don't feel, and I like to have the cards in the deck, you know, it's kind of hard swapping like cards, and you sometimes forget what you swap. And sometimes the integrity of your decks kind of gets a little skewed, but so that's kind of what I'm worried about. Like I kind of want to get the Henge, like another one, but maybe just not yet. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm just super stoked about you know, crafting this dragon deck, and maybe you'll follow me along on the journey. But other than that, have a great day. I'll see you guys later.